When it comes to CYFD, Child Protective Services, family court, you need to represent yourself. Okay, this is a movement that needs to happen because the attorneys are corrupt and it's part of this whole child trafficking thing. And the attorney is going to get you to lose your kid. Basically, the attorney is going to, they might send you some emails or text messages. If you don't fucking respond to that shit right away, or if you're somebody who's like homeless and your phone might be off for a few days or something like that, or if you don't fucking see the email and respond to it fucking immediately and it's just sitting there because you're just not ready to respond to the fucking email yet, what your lawyer is going to do is show up to court and tell the attorney, or tell the judge that you don't answer your calls and that you're difficult to get a hold of. And they could just easily have CPS go along with this, whether you're someone who's easy to contact or not. Even if you never lose phone service at all, these people can still lie and say that they weren't able to get a hold of you. And I've seen them do this, social worker after social worker after social worker, attorney after attorney after attorney for the last 6 years in my case. It's severe. 6, 7 years, something like that. I mean, this has gone on for a very long time. The people who have been determined to get my child in particular are quite, they're very driven. I'll just put it that way. Just absolutely relentless. It's terrifying that anyone would ever be after your kid to this degree. And I feel for everyone who's going through this, but for some people, they're going through this and they don't even know it. They don't know that their child has been selected for whatever reason, that somebody is trying to get them really, really hard. It's absolutely horrific. So, this is happening to people all over the United States. And what you need to start doing is we need to just start representing ourselves, because they add that lawyer in there, and that lawyer is supposed to represent us, but I'm telling you, they're not going to. These court-appointed attorneys are not going to represent you. I'm telling you, you're better off representing yourself. Someone who's never, ever had even one class in law school is better than letting these people represent you. I'm telling you, they will make you lose your kid deliberately. They will misrepresent you in front of the judge deliberately, over and over and over again. This will be a fucking constant thing. Yeah, the one thing that they're going to be consistent with is misrepresenting your situation and making you look like trash. One sign that they're going to be doing corrupt stuff is whenever they start to accuse you of having mental illness issues or of not making sense and all this shit. And they're like, you're not really making sense. If they say anything gaslighty or stupid like that to you, or they insult your intelligence, or they try to insinuate that you might need to take another psychological evaluation and that you might have problems, or that you have some kind of mental illness and you've never been diagnosed with any mental illness or anything like that, that's a pretty big sign that that person not only is a narcissist, but that they're probably planning on misrepresenting you. They could even be connected to a cult, a coven, a secret society, a gang, or anything like that. And of course, the judges don't want to hear anything that we peons have to say. But that courtroom is supposed to be for us. It's not just supposed to be a tormenting, torturesome place where people bully us and take our children, and that we, that we have no, control over that. And that's basically what it's become. Okay, so there's a lot of poor people, right? They take kids away from the poor people. The poor people aren't going to be able to afford an attorney. And if they all of a sudden try to start making money so that they can get an attorney or whatever, some of them might even get an attorney who also goes along with this trash and begins to work with these bad guys too, right? So here you are, you're at risk of losing your child. I mean, your child, if you're in a CPS case, if you lose that kid, there's no telling where they're going to end up. There's no telling what could happen to them. You know what? They could end up, in a way worse situation, something that ends up on the news, something that they don't even fucking survive. And do they really deserve that? You really got to take this losing children thing seriously, because all these foster parents out here, they aren't all good people. Anybody sees those little foster parent signs in the yards and signs up for that shit. Any pedophile can do that. Anyone who wants to abuse children is going to do that. They're going to try to get a job working with children so that, they're going to be expert manipulators, because that's how these pedophiles work. And when you get them all in a family court situation, and one of them is the judge, and one of them is the, and one of them is your attorney, and one of them is the other person's attorney, and one of them is the guardian ad litem. You very well could end up in a family court CYFD CPS situation where everyone around you is part of a Luciferian cult or something crazy like that, or they're all part of the same gang, or they're all pedophiles and human traffickers. And they're planning on trafficking you potentially if they can get you out of your house or in a bad enough predicament, or send certain people to you. Or they're planning on trafficking your kids. And the very act of them taking your children away in the first place is a beginning of human trafficking. They just moved people. They just took people. It's a form of false imprisonment, basically. It's like kidnapping. Now you're trapped. You're trapped in whatever they make you do. These people who don't know you from Adam obviously for some of them, they haven't studied the situation well enough if they're actually taking the kids. You know what I mean? Because I know for a fact that there is some corruption going on, and it's severe, and these people are used to this. This is what they spend their whole lives doing. They spend their whole lives pretending to be attorneys, pretending to be good social workers, pretending to be guardian ad litems, and they're child traffickers. It's real shit, you guys. So the moment that you get your kid taken away, if you're someone who basically, it doesn't matter if you're in poverty or not. The moment you get your kid taken away, you need to start to represent yourself. You need to volunteer yourself as your own attorney. Represent yourself. Okay? Because if all of us start to do that, if we all start to represent ourselves in court, we cut out all of the middleman who is the criminal attorney who does not care about you. Okay? The criminal attorney does not care about you. He is not your friend. He is, however, friends with your social worker who took your kid. He's friends with that judge up there who's going to want your kid to be taken away from you ultimately, because that's the whole point in their system. Their system isn't to make families better and to reunite families and to improve families or to improve the lives of the parents. That is not their goal. Definitely not what they do. The social workers spend zero time with the parents. They basically leave the parents on their own. They just fucking leave them. They hope that they fuck up. They hope that, you know what I mean? There's no help for them. They just fucking leave them. Some of them are even technically left for dead. I can say that. That definitely is a case that I have experienced myself personally. They actually took my kid, wrote up in the paperwork that I was being sex trafficked, and they just left me out there, like, just to be fucking stalked and fucking worse. I mean, it's serious. So here's another thing is, as I was saying, that these judges hate when we represent ourselves. They hate hearing us. They don't want to deal with the public. They don't. They want it all to be them, the same people that they're used to dealing with every day. They don't want to hear what you have to say. They don't care about the kids. They don't care about the parents. They don't care about your fucking stories. And they don't want to interact with you at all. But they want to be child traffickers, and they want to make money off of destroying families and off of the tears of mothers and children and fathers. So what you need to all start doing is representing yourselves. I'm sorry, but if you're in a CPS case, represent yourself. Trust me, you do not want to deal with these evil attorneys. I mean, it's serious. You can't even fire them. You can tell them 6 different times you're fired. You didn't even show up to the last hearing. You didn't even tell me that my kid was adopted out. You didn't even tell me that my kid was visiting my sex trafficking family. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't even tell me. You can't even get me a phone call with my kid. This bitch is the whole reason why they stopped letting me talk to my kid. Like, they'll also have these trafficker therapists, okay? These therapists and psychologists who work with the kids who are also child traffickers. And what they'll do is they'll get these lawyers who work with the kids to say that that talking to the parents is hurting the children, and that it would be in the best interest in the children if they never talk to their parents ever again. Ever again, dude. No one has to have proof. They could even have a completely different conversation recorded. Like, they could be recording all of your conversations secretly, and you never say anything wrong because you know you're being recorded, and them still get a referral from a therapist saying that the child, that it's in their best interest to never speak to the parent again, dude. As soon as they tell you that your kid is going to start going to therapy, that's what they're going to plan on. That's what they're planning on doing to you. And there's no telling how many people they've done this to, dude. Like, it seems to be like all that they actually do in their system, because I just had to deal with it with 3 different states over the course of the last 6 or 7 years, dude. And they're all the same. They all have that same general attitude. Like, they are all one big child trafficking ring. Okay. And in order for everything to go as smoothly as they planned, and in order for everything to go the way that it goes, and in order for them to receive all of these children and be kidnapping all of your children, everything has to go exactly how they plan, right? And even if it doesn't go exactly how they plan, they'll just keep planning and keep planning, trying to change it around and they'll of course try to adopt around it. But what you guys need to do is stop accepting their attorneys. Don't accept any court-appointed attorneys. And I mean, if you're actually going to get an attorney who's going to win for you, then cool, pay for an attorney by all means. But for the people who can't afford an attorney, do not allow those court-appointed attorneys to work for you. They need to be cut out of the system entirely. They're all child traffickers. They're all human traffickers. There might be a few in there who are good. I doubt it. Okay? From what I've seen, they're all bad. They're all bad, and they'll all go along with whatever they're told to go along with. They don't need to get paid ever again. They don't need to be paid anymore. These attorneys just got paid off of me for years. Between 5 and 7 years, they've been paid off of me. They've never done anything for me. All of these people have gotten money over basically trafficking my child away from me and having me trafficked out here, as long as they, you know what I mean? As long as they just keep me out here. And each time that they've done this, it's lasted 2.5 years. This is my second bout of a 2.5 year time span that they've kept my kid from me. The last time I got the kid back. This time they gave him back so that they could traumatize us and chase us again out of there. And then after about 1.5 years, or after a year or so, they caught up with us, and, you know, the bad guys were able to take my kid. And so now he's been with them, a different version of the bad guys. He was with bad guys before for 2.5 years too, but now he's with a much different, harsher, meaner, crueler, nastier, way worse version of the bad guys than he was with before. Like, if people thought he was getting abused before where he was, I can't tell you, I cannot express to you how severe it is right now. And one of the holdups in my situation, and some of the really, really bad guys who really could have helped me somewhere along the way, were my attorneys. It should be a given that if you have a fucking attorney, that maybe you're not just going to be alone in your situation. But that's not how it has been for me. And that's not how it is for millions of people across the US that they've done this to. All it takes is for somebody to pick out your cute little kid that you posted pictures of on Facebook or whatever, and you could have CPS after your ass and whole ass social workers and family court people and all of that trying to take your kid away, all working against you like a nightmare, like a nightmare, like something out of the Twilight Zone, you guys. It's really real and it's really horrible and it's happening nationwide. It might be happening globally, and this is how they're getting a lot of children and separating families. They're literally working against God by separating the family unit. I can't tell you also how many women that I meet whose children were taken by CPS, and I'm not sure if they realized that they were set up or not. Like, I haven't really necessarily made it that far with a lot of them, but I knew that those people were being set up. I lived in this building, in this apartment building, where I was being attacked because they were trying to get my kid taken away by CPS. They made it to where all the other women in the building around me, in every single apartment who had kids, they all had their kids taken away. Like all at once. Like they ran me out of town first or whatever, but I know that they had the girl upstairs, they had her kids taken away, and they were working on all the other apartments, all of them at the same time. And I don't think that any of the girls even knew each other, except for like we knew of each other, but we just didn't talk. It was like the different dudes that were in all the different apartments made sure that all of the females stayed isolated from each other, and then all those dudes would actually be secretly sneaking into all of those girls' apartments unbeknownst to them and while they were unaware. And there's just been a lot going on, dude. Lots of mommy trafficking, lots of baby trafficking, lots of really bad human traffickings. And when you try to bring, like, basically, if you are a trafficking victim and that's just like all you are, and you're able to like actually express that to the people around you, especially in a family court situation, they'll tell you that you're crazy. They'll tell you that you need to have a psychological evaluation, and they'll tell you that you're schizophrenic. So basically, I mean, I don't know. I guess that a symptom of schizophrenia is that you're being sex trafficked. That's really bizarre. Okay? But, you know, they can take your kid away and write up that you're being trafficked, or they can write up that you're being, you know, forced into whatever crime life, or that they, you know, found you on the streets and found you out in some ditch or something somewhere. But you better get a place as soon as you can. You know, and then they're going to not set you up to go to a domestic violence shelter. If you're someone who could be put in a domestic violence shelter with your kid, and they just take your kid away and they don't put you in a domestic violence shelter, that's a pretty big deal. That's also part of the human trafficking thing. If they're just going to take your kid away because your husband or boyfriend or wife or girlfriend started some crazy shit, like, and then they're going to say that it's your fault. Now, this didn't happen to me in particular, but then they're going to say that it's your fault that you weren't protecting your kid from harm. So that's another little trick that they've played on probably hundreds of thousands of people, if not more than that, right? And what they do is they'll get either the husband or the wife to go in on the child trafficking campaign. And then that husband or wife or boyfriend or girlfriend will raise all kinds of hell and be really, really abusive to their partner. And then if the partner or the kids or anybody speaks up and they're like, oh my God, can we get help for this person? They'll just take the kids away, and they'll like basically treat both of the parents like they're both abusers. And some of these women get abused really, really badly all of a sudden, and they don't know what the heck's going on. And it's because the dude is part of a child trafficking ring, and he's trying to get one of those kids. He's getting those kids to be pulled into the system. So now anything can happen to them now because the parents aren't paying attention. They're not, it's not that they're not paying attention. They're not, they're not there. They're not available. They're not there to protect their children. They have to take them from protective parents who care and put them with parents who go along with their trafficking thing. And that's how that is really these are the main child traffickers in the whole nation, is CYFD and the family court system. And it's completely out of control, and they will completely screw you over. You're probably going to get screwed over either way. Don't do drugs. Do not give them any reason to take your kid away. Walk on ice. Walk on eggshell or thin ice, eggshells, whatever it is. Like be really, really careful. Don't allow anyone else to represent you, because they'll represent you right into the ground. They will represent you until the very last day of representing you, when they say, hey, we're going to have this hearing to decide whether or not we're going to terminate your rights. And here you've survived all this stuff. You've been sober this entire time. You've made yourself available for years. And they're going to say that you didn't make yourself available. Your attorney couldn't even get a hold of you. So, and so stupid. And if you represent yourself, it's going to mean that the courts, CPS bitches, or whoever, they're going to have to fucking actually let you know when the court hearing is. And this way, whenever they bring anything up, instead of your attorney, because this is what your attorney is going to do, they're going to tell you you're not allowed to talk about anything. They're going to tell you aren't allowed to talk about a fucking thing. And if they do let you talk at all, it's going to be part of a setup. And they try to tell you that they don't want you to talk because you'll mess it up. And if you say anything, they'll be like, well, I mean, it's your kid. If you want to lose your kid, then just go right ahead, and all this trash. Like the attorney will literally talk you into doing whatever they want you to do. You're not going to be able to have a say. That attorney does not work for you. No one works for you. CYFD doesn't work for you. The family court system doesn't work for you. And that attorney certainly does not work for you. They do not give a fuck about you or your kids. No one in that entire system gives a fuck about a kid. You're the only one who even has the fucking capacity to care about, love your child, or fucking defend or protect them. Nobody else is gonna fucking do it. You have to fucking do it. No one else is going to. They're too fucking shallow and callous and sick fucking perverts and shit, fucking weirdos and retards. Only you can fucking do it. You can't trust any of these other motherfuckers to do it. Like, I can't remember the name of the movie, but it's about this dude. He's adopted into this really abusive family, like hella abusive, one of the most abusive stories that they ever made a movie of. And the kid grows up and he goes and he finds his birth mom in the ghetto. She's like a fucking crackhead mom somewhere. And he's like, you didn't love me? He's like, you didn't care about what happened to me? You didn't even come looking for me and shit? And the woman is just like so callous, and she's like, I couldn't care. She was like, you know what I mean? And she's just like, get out of here. You know what I mean? I couldn't care about, she doesn't want to care, and she's cold hearted and stuff. And unless you're that parent, like if you're that parent, then please, I guess maybe your kids will end up with someone better. I doubt it. You know what I mean? They've actually, done studies. They've done studies that show that, like, even if a kid's parents are really bad, the kid would almost 100% of the time rather be with their own fucking really bad parents than to be with some fucking complete strangers. That's weird as fuck. Now, I have seen the kids come out and talk to the officers and say, hey, my mommy threatened to MDK me. Hey, my mommy says she hates me. My mommy says she's going to hurt me. My mommy, took me and hung me upside down in the closet and beat me senseless yesterday and stuff like that. When the kids could actually come out and liberally say that shit to a cop and it be really obvious that something is really wrong, that's the best time to remove the kid from the situation. Okay? That's the best time. I would rather see videos like that. You know what I mean? I would rather see instances like that where the kid actually asks for help and then they help them. You know what I mean? Rather than just the parents fucking set shit up or whatever or somebody set shit up to make it seem like that the one parent or the other was being abusive or endangering the kid or any other. There's just so many different ways that they can set up a parent now to lose their children and just fucking never get them back. And you would think like, oh, we need this CPS system because what about those kids that they find locked in cages and stuff like that? And it's like, how do we know that somebody didn't lock that kid in a cage to set this whole thing up? How do we know that those aren't some of the highest bidders on that kid who would have that kid set up to be stuck in a cage to where CPS would find them? And then, you know what I mean? And then there are some obvious situations at random where both parents really are abusive ass, cruel crackheads like that and actually have to have their children rescued and taken away. And could they please not be rescued by a child trafficking network? Could they please not be rescued by child protective trafficking, child predatorial services? Like, could they not be rescued and then end up in an even worse situation? Or representing yourself takes bold moves in court. I'm telling you, it's way better than some fucking asshole or some fucking dirty bitch causing you to lose your kid deliberately. You don't want to go through it. So you might as well just represent yourself. Have everything written down, write down everything they do. Anytime they fucking call you, anytime they do anything, write it down. It's true. You should write it all down. But if you're being trafficked, then they'll just make sure that all that fucking information is stolen from you. Even if you find a way. And another thing is, if you're being trafficked, they'll steal your phones and they'll take over your accounts. They'll have your accounts taken over. They'll steal everything you have. They'll steal any notes like that you have. They all know exactly. You know what I mean? Depending on who you are and how long you're able to outlast the trafficking thing, never give up on getting your kids back. If you're a mom or a dad who really cares, don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. If you're anywhere in a state where you can get a medical marijuana license and you know what I mean, and you're somebody who likes to use cannabis, I think that you might be able to, if it is a doctor's order type thing, I think that you might be able to consume cannabis potentially under CPS, but I'm not sure. I know that it is really difficult to go the months and years and time span that they want you to go without any kind of relief at all as far as that goes. I know it's not the same story for everyone. One of the things that I had to do is use mullein, this mullein leaf that grows around here that's dried. There were some other like herb type things that I had to order online or find out in the woods and stuff like that I had to dry and, that I used to like smoke and kind of like take the relief off of not being able to consume cannabis anymore under a CPS case. Another thing that CPS is allowed to do is lie about why they took your kid. So it doesn't matter why they take your kid. If it sounds like you might catch them up somehow, they'll just change the reason why they took your kid. And they can change the reason why they took your kid at any time. They changed the reasons why they took my kid at least 4 different times. And they even had me sign a paper saying that that was why they took my kid, and it wasn't why they took my kid at all, not even close. They're really sneaky, scammy liars. They're just as bad as, if you can think of child traffickers out on the streets, people who work with the cartels and stuff like that, schemy, scammy, nasty people who end up on the news and stuff. These are the same people. They're exactly the same. They just haven't gotten caught yet. You know what I mean? That judge sitting up there, he's exactly the same as that schemy, nasty dude. He might be even doing the same thing, going in and paying for children and abusing them. And that's why he was the guy to ask to cover for everybody. You know what I mean? These are really, really grimy, nasty people that you're probably going to be dealing with. They're going to be all up there pretending that they're better than you. All going to be really condescending to you. Everyone is just going to assume that you're trash because your children were taken away by CPS. And of course, if your children were taken away by CPS, it must mean that you're some dumbass crackhead mama or dumbass crackhead daddy, and you don't know any better. You're just some dumbass hillbilly who abuses and neglects your kids. It must mean that you lived in filthy conditions and that you were just, you guys want some pancakes? I made you some pancakes. Woo! So yeah, I didn't mean to make this video this long, but if you're in a CPS case, it would be in your best interest to represent yourself. And let's get rid of these child trafficking attorneys. Let's make it to where they don't get paid anymore. Yeah.